Hi. There's been a few requests to do a video about colouring using the colour stains, and I have a bowl. I'll hold this up, you can see. Some of you might recognise this. This in fact was one of the bowls that I coloured at the National Botanic Gardens. It was a bit by bit process, doing a bit and then leaving a bit for later. But I'm now finished sanding the inside and it's ready to be coloured, so I thought I'd make a video to show you how I did that. So we'll mount it on the lathe, because I always colour them while on the lathe, so we'll just angle the camera down. You can see that. And there we are. There's no point looking at that really. So I'm going to try and more or less match the outside colours, but I'm not going to be too fussy. Just get it approximately similar shades. So I'll have the blue here going into a green, then into a bit of a red area, then back into the blue again. And I'm going to start off with the blue. This is a sort of a turquoise blue, and that's the one I usually start with when I'm doing any kind of blue colour. I put them on with a brush, so I'll rotate it round to approximately position and run the blue in there like that. And it runs all the way into the base. Now with the blue, I like to use both blues. So there's also the royal blue, and I'll put that on top, and you'll see you get quite an interesting effect. It doesn't show straight away. Royal blue on top like that. Let it run over a bit and bleed into the other areas somewhat. But the really good effect comes when we go back now to the lighter blue and go over the top, and can you see you get this really nice kind of electric blue finish with that. A bit heavy there, doesn't matter though. It gets a little bit too heavy. I'll get a little bit of a tissue and wipe some out like that. There we are, it's just on the tissue, just lifts it a little bit. Now you've got this nice sort of electric blue colour in there. Now that fades round. Again, if we take some more of the light blue over here, and it runs into a kind of an olive green. So if we take some green, first off I only use the colours from the pot. Bit of green, send it into the blue, let it run over there a bit like that. It's not a big area, again it's a little bit heavy, tissue a bit out, but the green, as you can see, if you look, well, the outside is much more of an olivey green. This is really a rather acid colour. Make it a little bit deeper, and you can kill that a little bit, and this is where your knowledge of colour mixing will come in. If you understand the colour wheel, if you use a bit of orange, it's more or less an opposite of green, we call a contrasting colour. If you mix two contrasting colours together, they sort of cancel one another out. You end up with a kind of an olivey colour now. And again, you can run that and blend it into the blue a bit there like that. But because it's killed the green a lot, you can then take a little bit more green and go back in there. So now we've got a more subtle, darker green altogether. And as this mixing, while it's actually on the work, mixing and blending of the colours you can do. I noticed I've actually got quite a few sanding marks in this, which is very disappointing because I did think I'd got rid of those, but apparently not. It's going to have to be a feature now because I won't be able to remove them later. Now then, at this portion, then it runs into a red here, so we'll get some red. And again, the same thing applies with the red. Must be a red brush here somewhere, or purple. I'll use the orange one, it'll be fine. Red. And this is you've got a similar situation with the red. Now I've made that. It's actually had some yellow on it as well. If we take some green now and just merge that in like that, so there. And take the blue one and bring it in this side. Even running over it a bit, so you're just left with a small patch of red. And then on the outside it's quite dark. What I might do is just go over it with this blue, just take it right down, and then go back over it with the red again, and lift it back out into red, and a little bit more smooth transition instead of a patch. And the blue and green here I want to bring up. I want to get it a little bit darker so and a little bit on the light side. This green in a bit more. This is one of the things that is that I really like about these colours, especially when we're doing it in the style that I do it, which is quite dark a lot of the time. Up to a point, you can actually keep going over it. You've got to be careful not to put too many different colours on one patch because you'll just end up with a muddy brown then. That same applies to watercolour painting. If you're doing watercolours, you'll have the same effect. So you need to be aware of that. But you can actually get away with quite a lot of overworking and working in some different lines like that. A lighter blue again on there just to get that real depth of blue, which really looks as though you're looking into a dark, clear pool of water. It's an intense, fantastic blue. I really like it. I'll work a little bit more on the red because it seems to have faded out a bit. Bring it in a bit more. Back into it this way. I think that's pretty good. I quite like that, and that's a reasonable match to the outside. Not too bad. There's a little patch of gold and green here, but we've gone blue on that side. So this is actually for a customer who just wanted the inside colour. She said it doesn't matter if it doesn't match the outside, which is fortunate, because making a match each side can be very tricky. Just turn that fan off for a minute, because I suspect that's probably made a noise in the background. I'm just cleaning the colour now off the edge on the outside, just so that it makes it easier. And that'll be left to dry now, and once it's thoroughly dry, I'll give it a little bit of a rub with a knife web, just very gently, just to take off any little nibs. I'm really not trying to sand it back or anything like that, and it'll be ready for finishing. The finish on this, on the outside, is actually been done with first off with the acrylic sanding sealer, the chestnut acrylic sanding sealer, and then the finish is this one, the acrylic gloss lacquer. That will be the final coat, and I'll put 2 or 3 coats of this, and probably 3, maybe even 4 coats of this, but light coats. Just build it up gently. Don't need a rush. You don't want any runs or anything like that. And then it's allowed then a few days to cure. So it's quite brief, really. Quite a brief little demonstration of the technique for colouring. You can apply it in many different ways, but I think the thing to take from it is that you can do that blending. You can lay one colour over another, experiment, see what works with what. Have some idea of a colour wheel if you can, because then you'll know what colours will work with each other. But you're not tied by any rules. You can just do something. What you need to have, though, is the courage to put a piece in that you've finished and actually stick colour on it, and that can be the hardest thing, really, because you have no idea when you're starting off exactly what you're going to end up with. But if you have a go, the same as I did, I watched Andy Coates' video. It was an inspiration to me for sure, and I went on from there. I've done it slightly differently to Andy, but in some respects it's the same. His blending techniques were similar, and you have a go. Try it, see what you can do, what you can produce, make a nice little piece and try colouring it up. Anyway, there we are. That's a little demonstration of colouring, so thanks for watching, and I might video the little bowl, or certainly have some pictures on the blog and probably on the UK Workshop forum, so that you can see what the end result was. So there we are. Bye bye. There's the off button.